Hi there, I'm Matt with K15T, and welcome to our live stream all about using Loom and Confluence to go from speaking your thoughts into the air to sharing your knowledge with the entirety of your enterprise organization. It's so awesome to have you here. I would love to have you in the live chat. We're doing this live for a reason. Throw your thoughts into the chat because we want to know what you think. What are your thoughts? What are your questions? These are so important to us, and they will steer what we are talking about today. Hey, Ada, nice to have you in here. Couple of things. First of all, if you would hit that like button that tells YouTube, hey, there's cool stuff happening over here in the live stream. Also, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button. Here's why. So earlier this week, we dropped a really fun video based on the song Wicked from Confluence. You can watch that right after this. It was just a really fun project about how excited we are to teach people how to use Confluence. Big fans, had some fun. Tomorrow, we will be dropping a 15-minute video all about best practices for creating robo agents. So if you've heard about them, if you are wondering, what can I do with a robo agent? How do I build one? Why are there so many empty prompt boxes and why are they so intimidating? Check out that video that drops tomorrow to get our best practices scoop there. Also, hang on there because we will be dropping more shorts, more videos, and more live streams. In the month of February, we will have 2 live streams. One is a deep dive all about robo agents and creating robo agents, and one will be all about documentation and how to write documentation in Confluence and why, or what are the most important things that you should keep in mind when you do that. Glad to hear you liked the video, Ada. It was really fun to make. Dustin, you scamp. It's good to see you in the chat. My God, it's so early for you. I hope you're in a bathrobe and some cozy slippers. Yeah, I'll see you on the video drop tomorrow, Dustin. All right. Finally, if you have a question, and I already see one in the live chat, if you would just add hashtag question at the beginning, that just helps me to notice them, especially since we do not have Mixmaster Stefan in the chat today. I will be fending for myself. So if you could add hashtag question at the beginning, that is helpful. I do see the first one from you, Barb, and we will answer that as we go. And I keep saying we. It's not the royal we, because joining me is the we that really matters. Sasha Rappaport, it is so nice to have you here today. Sasha, talk to me about what you do at Atlassian, just so everybody knows what kind of a big deal you are here.
Oh, that's how we're going to start. Okay. Well, Matt, it's a pleasure to be here with you and everyone else. So I always appreciate getting to spend time with you and all the people that you bring to these live streams. So like you said, my name is Sasha. I lead our Loom adoption team, which is really our teamwork collection adoption team. And we run, basically timed engagements with customers that really focus on driving adoption of Atlassian products, Jira, Confluence, and specifically Loom to organizations that in most instances are new to Loom, are new in some cases to video more generally. So we get to really think about how we can best explain and talk about video as a way to impact people's workflows and give them value within the ways they're already working, specifically in Jira, and like we're going to talk a lot about today, how they're working in Confluence. And then, of course, our good buddy Rovo is always right next to us, helping us do everything we want to do faster, better, and ideally with more insights across our organization included in that.
I love our good buddy Robo is always right there next to us. All I can think of, I was just at the mall yesterday and there is a video game arcade where they have one of the mascots from the old Chuck E. Cheese crew that Five Nights at Freddy's is based on. Has anyone seen these with the giant animatronic, all-seeing eyes? And it's just standing in a glass case. And I was like, but that's not how Rovo is always there next to us. Rovo is cool and not creepy and always there to help. Robo does not have any eyes, as far as I'm aware.
There's no risk of the hostile takeover. It's all about helping us. It's our happy puppy sitting there going and getting the paper for us.
That's right. Thank God.
It's not Fred. Five Nights at Freddy's. It's all good.
Yeah, I like to think of Rovo as our little Clippy who actually knows how to help us. Like Clippy was so enthused, but just couldn't. He just really wanted us to save our documents, which admittedly I lost a lot of documents because I would forget to do that. Hi everybody, if you are just joining, it would be awesome to have you hit that like button and subscribe because we're going to be dropping some more stuff this week. Also, jump into the live chat and chat with us, add some questions. We have a question from Barb that we will get to in a minute. So, one other thing, Sasha, I saw on LinkedIn that you're really into women's basketball. Is that true?
I have no idea how that might have gotten to LinkedIn, but I mean, I love basketball. I love both men and women's basketball, and I've been to several Sparks games in my life. But yeah, go on with that.
All right. Well, first of all, correct answer, and second of all, I'm seeing it's actually we're celebrating that you were just awarded an MBA. Congratulations! That's a huge feat, and I just wanted to point that out on the on the live stream that Sasha just got. Just a little thing called an MBA. No big deal.
Well, thanks for the shout out. I did at the end of last year after a few years of a long journey, did earn my MBA. And I will assure you that it did not impact my ability to deliver a great Loom presentation. It only enhanced it.
Oh my God. Well, Dustin points out you're now smart and charming. And now that you have an MBA, you can come onto this live stream. We will allow it now, because we have standards here. I don't know if Loom presentations do, but we certainly do, Sasha. All right, Sasha, talk to me about the teamwork collection. How can I use tools like Loom, Confluence, and Jira to share my knowledge across the whole organization, sometimes without even touching my dirty keyboard?
I love it. All right. Let's get into it. So, we have a great way that we like to think about where Loom sits within the Teamwork Collection. Of course, the Teamwork Collection is just Jira and Confluence working together, as you already know. And Loom is essentially the communication layer that sits on top of both of those amazing applications. So Loom is a screen recorder as well as a meeting note taker. And what that really means is Loom is a tool that allows you to capture your screen, your voice, yourself. You can talk through whatever it is that's going on. And then that can instantly be embedded into both Jira and Confluence as a way to more easily communicate complex information within those work streams. On top of that, Loom can also, with Loom AI, instantly create brand new Confluence pages or Jira work items directly from your screen recordings. And then
really quick, Sasha, we had the question from Barb wondering, does Loom cost extra? How does that work?
Oh, okay. That's a great question. We're not going to dive too deeply into that. There's always, we're always told go to the Loom page for the specifics, but within the Teamwork Collection, it is a collection you're purchasing, and Loom is included in that collection of Jira, Confluence, Rovo, and then Loom. And then you can, of course, still get Loom standalone if that's something that you need. And so we definitely encourage you to go to loom.com. You can see the different plans that are available. And then at Atlassian, you can see, website, you can see the Teamwork Collection plans that are available. There's standard, premium, enterprise. And so Loom is a part of all of that. And that's how we want to be able to position it, because Loom on its own is an amazing tool. Loom with Confluence and Jira in particular is really not only an amazing tool, but then it optimizes your experience with Confluence, optimizes your experience with Jira, and then you get Rovo on top of it. And then you're just, in that rocket ship, and it's an amazing overall experience when you can bundle and utilize all four of those tools together.
I love it. All right, continue.
All right. Awesome. I am going to go so I only have a few slides, but I do want to kind of explain both Loom and then where video can sit within, like how you communicate at work. And so this is like an old school Loom slide. This is like several years old, but it still kind of sits And within how we'd like to describe Loom in your communication, I'm going to say ecosystem, but really like you have different tools for different ways you communicate at work. And they range, from live, where we are right now, to not live, so asynchronous. But that really means, email and chat, but that also includes typically like Confluence and Jira, where it kind of bridges that gap. Sometimes you're putting things live, but people are not reading them at the same time. So there's those text space, but Loom sits in that beautiful place where you can record a Loom video, you capture your screen, you talk through complex information, and then you can share that, and people are able to watch it on their own time. And it also sits into that video and synchronous space, because now you can record your meetings and you also get a Loom video from the live experience. And then all of that information is accessible by Rovo. And so if you're talking through a project and then you're kind of kicking it off, and then you have a live meeting that's the brainstorm. Now Rovo has access to the kind of framework of what that project is, to the live discussion, and so it can surface insights from both and actually create content directly from all of the work that's gone into the overall project. And we have often situations where we have to bring people in across time zones, locations, language barriers, and that can be really challenging just trying to meet live. So being able to leverage Loom as a kind of another way to communicate, so you don't have to try to scramble to get everyone into a live meeting, but still get that important information across, is a kind of key initial use case for leveraging Loom and adding it to how you communicate at work. And then, of course, this is what it all comes back to, which is Loom is a really simple tool in and of itself. It's simply a few clicks. You're capturing your screen, your voice, yourself. You're bringing yourself into the communication. You can capture tone, and you get to share your screen. Loom was essentially created with the need to be able to share complex information really easily. So you record, you can edit, and then you instantly share your Loom videos wherever teams are already communicating. So I'm ready to do the demo. I want to show you how it's done. Before that, Matt, I want to go back and see what questions we have before I actually show you how easy it is to record a Loom video.
Fantastic. I have a question from Barb, and then I have a question from me, more of a concern. So the question from Barb is one other quick pricing question. If I buy the apps in the Teamwork Collection, do they all have to be like if I have Jira Premium, can I have like Confluence Standard and like Loom Standard? Is that possible, or do they all have to be premium? Do you know?
Ooh, that's a great question. And again, I'm going to shut that to the side. Those specific questions are probably best answered by, your sales partner or account partner over at Atlassian. I would start there. You can, again, go to the Atlassian website. You should be able to connect with either someone live or put in a request and actually have a conversation with someone that can go into those details. I know, Barb, that's not like the answer you want, but ultimately, I want to get you to the person that can actually work with you in your specific scenario to give you the best answer that can be given. And I'm not probably the best person to answer that question.
Yeah. There are enough complexities given the enterprise or SMB you work for. Like, that could be a very complicated answer. Luckily, there are smarter pricing pages and account executives that can help you with those sorts of questions. But they're good ones for sure. For sure.
Yes.
And my question is, Sasha, you just talked about an app that like is recording me. I get very self-conscious about that. Like that's, video sounds hard. Video sounds scary. I'm probably not the only one who feels that way. So I'd like to see how easy it is. And then also like, how does this work for someone who's like, oh my God, that sounds like a lot?
Yeah, and I totally get that. And I know that you're putting that out there to capture the people that do feel like that. We know you don't feel like that. More screen time, the better for you, Matt. And we know that that's where you live. But we deeply respect you putting that out there for the people that are concerned. And so actually that's a perfect segue into showing you the recorder. And I'm going to do what I would suggest you do if you don't want to capture yourself, because this is already probably two of me. You might be saying this is way more than anyone
That's so
needs
much, Sasha.
of me. It's too much. So I can just come here and I can say, all right, you know what? I'm going to no camera. And so now it will only capture my screen and my
Okay.
voice.
Okay.
And so if you're not comfortable capturing yourself in the beautiful little cam bubble, which again, you should at some point, because one of the beauties of doing that is it actually brings you into the conversations, where text and Slack and Teams, it's lacking. And when you're in a distributed workplace, it can be really powerful to bring yourself into the communication. People can see you. It can help them get to know you. And when you have, that kind of connection, people tend to work better, collaborate better. So always put that in the back of your mind as like, this is actually going to help you in the long run with how you work with your teammates and other people at your organization. But that being said, of course, like it can be a big barrier seeing yourself, sometimes even hearing yourself. So there's two kind of aspects. Number one, I would not turn your camera. You can turn your camera off, but I would not turn off your microphone, because a big
Yeah.
power that we're going to share today is still, if you're able to talk through the information you're sharing on your screen, it's going to allow people to watch and hear, and that's going to get to quicker understanding. Nothing is going to be lost. Text can be really challenging, especially when there's more than a paragraph or two. Being able to record a short Loom and then people can watch and hear it on 2x speed, it means
Yeah.
that they're going to both see and hear and get that quickly. And that's what we're all about, is communicating more effectively. So, start with your camera off if that's where you're at. By all means, it's about getting used to it, getting comfortable with how you record yourself, for sure.
Cool. Cool. All right. Show us how.
All right. So again, it's really simple. I'm going to just choose what I want to record. So I might want to just record my window. I might want to record just the tab within my browser, or I could do the full screen, or I could do camera only, go the opposite route and just share myself. But I'm not going to do that because no one
Mhm.
wants that. And they only want to see how you can record.
I think
With
Dustin in
that,
the chat does. Yeah.
Dustin, we have as many one-on-one meetings as you could possibly want, and you can get all of me then. For now, we're going to save everybody else. All right. So you choose what you want to record. And I will say this is the Chrome extension. It's easy to share in the scenario today. And if I just wanted to quickly capture what's in my browser, Chrome extension is absolutely the way to go. But we also have a desktop app. And for those of you that know that you need to show multiple applications or want a slightly more polished video, you have essentially a teleprompter that you can utilize with that desktop app recording experience. But you choose that there. But if you just want to do a quick share of what's going on in your browser or in a window, the Chrome extension is the quick and easy way to get that done.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm
Which
just
will
going to
also
choose
work in Dia. It will work
yes.
in Edge. It will work in Opera. So almost every browser you're using, you can use this extension.
Exactly. All right. So now all right, I'm going to put that there. I have some effects. This is mostly about the cam bubble, but as you can see, I also have this background that Loom created. You can do a slide deck of your own, choosing like I started with. I can also, because it's a browser extension, I can choose to blur sections of the screen if I need to. And then I just click start recording. And that's it. I get a quick little countdown. And then I get started. I can move my cam bubble around as I'm going. I can talk through whatever I need to on my screen. It's going to capture everything at the bottom. I can actually rewind live. So if I made a mistake, but I want to keep going, I can actually go click here. It's going to give me the actual recorded date. I know I'll start back here. I just drag this to here. I click trim, and it's going to restart at this point during the recording. Actually, don't want to do that. I'm just going to get started again, discard trim. And so now it's still going. I just resume, but I can pause at any point. I can certain content. I can restart if I really want to. I can trash it, take a break, take a breath, and start over. And then when I'm done, I simply click the finish button. I do want to say, like during the recording, and this is just a best practice, is don't worry about being perfect.
Yeah.
Again, like if you're in the same room with someone and you make a mistake, you say the wrong word, you just correct yourself, you keep going. This is informal communication. in most instances, when you're using Loom, if you make a mistake, it's totally fine. Be comfortable with that. Get used to that because people don't care. They just want the information you're trying to share with them. So, again, you don't have to start with your cam bubble, but talk through in an informal manner. Find the use cases that you can do that. Just a quick update, a walkthrough of a policy, a product, your Confluence page that you just wrote. Just do a quick overview and then send that so it gets buy-in for people to go in and review what you want. Those
You
are
you
informal
mentioned
ways
you
to
mentioned
share
the
information.
pause button. You mentioned the pause button, which I used that a few weeks ago. I was supposed to go speak in Toronto and I could not because I was starting to get sick. And like I was having trouble like breathing and stuff, but I was like, I need to send them this talk. So I literally pulled up my presentation at home, recorded as much as I could, hit the pause button. I would like cough and stuff, whatever, record a little more. And like I just like moved through every 3 minutes, hit the pause button, had a thing, and then kept going. Just because I was like, I need to get them this presentation. They deserve this. And like that made it so people didn't have to listen to me cough through the entire thing. So even that is also so helpful for how casual this is. You're just, in fact, when we start to talk about the AI features here, there's just so much you don't have to worry about anymore. This is not prep in a video for YouTube or something. That's just not what we're creating here anymore, which is great.
Exactly. And of course you can. If you get to be an expert like Matt, if you get to be an expert like Dustin who's here, you'll be recording really highly polished like demos and overviews. But to get started, that's not what we want you to do. We want you to get started in the ways that are easy, that are comfortable, but impactful, And so that's exactly it. There's these little tools that make it really easy. And, Matt just mentioned the AI things that I'll do, bring a cough. I'll often just pause and think through what I want to say next. And you'll
Mm.
see in a second, Loom AI can actually automatically remove your pauses and clean that video up really easy. In fact, why don't we just jump into that now?
You know
So I'm going to
what?
be done.
Before you do, there is an interesting question that I would love for you to just keep in mind, which is somebody
Yeah.
asked, is Loom catered for remote teams? How is it beneficial for non-remote teams? And I think that's maybe something you can touch on as you're showing some things because I love that perspective and I think that's such a great question.
Yes. In fact, I want to just jump into that. I have an answer because I've been in both,
Yeah.
and I've used Loom in both scenarios. In fact, I've used it all the time. Which is when you think about the meetings you have, whether they are, in person in a conference room or over Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, whatever the scenario is. A lot of times those meetings are just someone sharing information with a team. Or maybe it's a one-on-one, whatever the case may be. A lot of times those types of meetings could just be Looms because we have too many meetings. We all have too many meetings. And so anytime that you can say, oh, I don't actually need to, pull up a meeting with that person. I can just record a short Loom and send it to them. That's great. Another one is just, you might all be in the same office, but you might want to share just an overview of like the project you're going to be bringing everyone together for to get buy-in ahead of time. Or my personal favorite, and I think this is one of like the most impactful ways that you can think about leveraging Loom and video, which is how do you make your live meetings better? And how can you improve collaboration with video? Well, the easiest way is to think about how in many instances you spend the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of any live meeting where you are collaborating or brainstorming, talking about what you're trying to do together. You're setting the stage for getting feedback or driving the discussion. Well, what if you just recorded a 2-minute Loom video beforehand, shared that with the team, so that way when you did get together live, you just get right to it. Our team does that. We're remote, but we do the same thing if we were all in a conference together. We have like live ITGs where we get together and use that time to kind of drive at specific collaborative brainstorms. But we actually send like a Loom video preparing everybody like the day before, a few days before, what to expect. because it doesn't need to be like another meeting to prepare for a meeting. A video is a great way to do that. I could talk about this for the next 30 minutes that we're together, but I'm going to stop there. I'd love to hear what people's responses are, or if anyone has any questions. But this is the part of my role that I love talking about.
All right, show us some more, Sasha.
Okay, so I created this video. You saw that it automatically gave me a title. I have a summary down here. I'd even split into chapters. Loom AI automatically does all that for me. I don't have to title it. I can change it if I want. I can update anything. But now it's actually ready to go. And all I need to do is click this little copy link, and I can share this video anywhere. Like it goes in Slack, it automatically embeds, can even be watched there. I can put it in email, I can put it in Confluence, I can put it in Jira. It's good to go. It's as simple as that. But if I wanted to make any edits, I had talked about actually automatically moving silences. I can just toggle this on. Filler words. I am I am that kind of speaker, so I know I always want to remove all of those. I can do it instantly, and it smooths it out so it doesn't look choppy. Easy. And then I can actually go in and, editing videos seems like it's a challenging thing to do, but with Loom, we make it so easy for you. All you need to do is come in and you select what you need within your transcript. So this is everything I said during that recording. I can select what I want and delete it. I can even select words or phrases because people don't care. That's not right. I can say actually, because people care about Loom.
Whoa.
I'm just making this up, and now get used to that because people care about Loom. My voice, my cam bubble will actually be updated based, from Loom AI. It's going to replace the audio and my little cam bubble to make it look like I actually said because people care about Loom. So you can actually make, with AI assistance, updates to what you say during your video by making small replacements of text within your transcript itself. So actually,
wow.
if you get to be an expert, and I could say actually it's super expert, because let's be honest, you're not just an expert, you're a super expert, Matt. Now I have all of that updated.
You know what? I was thinking about getting my MBA as well, but now that I'm a super expert, thank you, Loom. Could you change that to MBA, please?
MBAs.
Yeah.
Yes. Matt, MBA. There you go. And
there
that's
it is.
Official. You actually have a certificate.
Yeah, you missed Esquire, but that's fine. Whatever.
That's the next video.
Yeah, the honorable.
All right. Finish. And so now that's as easy. We make it incredibly easy and intuitive to make changes to your video so that they're edited exactly how you want. So that way, again, it takes that pressure off that initial recording experience where you don't have to be perfect. If you make small mistakes, if you need to think through what you say, you just pause. You can edit out any small mistakes. You can make it, a bit more polished, really easy, and then you're done. And it's as simple as that. And I wanted to just show something because I'm really excited about it. Going back to whether you're in the same office or you're a remote, or maybe you're actually a multilingual team and you want to share a video with the whole team and some of your teammates are, I don't know, Russian or Spanish or French or Chinese or Japanese. If you come here and I click on this and I go to settings, let me pause this. I can actually come and go to the caption language, and I have over 50 options. And so if I want to make sure that my Slovenian teammates can review this in their own native language, I just click that. It's going to take a minute, but it's going to auto-generate the captions in whatever language is needed. So another way that video can be really powerful when you want to be able to share across teams that might be speaking different languages. We actually, one of the number one kind of overall use cases for Loom that we hear a lot is engineers are, recording Looms of bugs or issues in the code or wherever it might be, and they need to send it to QA, the QA team. And instead of trying to book a meeting and walking them through everything or just typing it up in a Jira work item, they record a Loom, and then a lot of QA teams might be in a different location. different time zone, and on occasion even different language. Well, Loom solves for all of those challenges because not only are you able to show your screen and walk through the issue so it can be seen and heard, but then you can also share it with the team that can watch it on their own time and potentially even review it in their own language. So those are really powerful, kind of scenarios in which, video is a huge value add for teams. All right.
So awesome. So awesome. We have quickly a couple of questions. Let's rapid fire these. Shortest answers win. Really quickly, when you record using the Chrome app, can you record multiple tabs if you're like, I want to show this and this and this?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. Are there analytics available to determine who viewed the Loom?
Great question. And yes, if you go to activity, you can see all your comments. And then if you come over to views, and surprisingly, it's in views, you can see the total, the average completion rate. You can see who viewed it. I can check in and see, Catherine, you only watched the first 15%. That's okay.
Catherine.
There was all the meat was up front that I needed to get. Lynn, 30. Okay. Lynn wins, and she crushed Catherine. That's it's easy as that. You can get analytics as well across videos, and then as an admin for your entire Loom workspace, you can get analytics across all the videos that are being recorded at your organization as well. So you absolutely get analytics and powerful analytics with Loom.
I love this. There is a question for me about whether if I drop a Loom into a Confluence page and publish that using scroll viewport, scroll sites, will that be visible on your site? The answer is yes, I believe so, as long as the Loom is set up privacy-wise, that anyone can view it, then yes, it should be embedded in your scroll viewport site, which... scroll site, I should say. God, scroll viewport is so old. Why am I saying this? And yes, Sasha is showing off how to do the privacy settings. Yeah, so anyone with the link can view should allow anyone with the link to view it. So that should make it visible to everybody on the public internet. Just check that and make sure. And if you don't see that option, it's because your administrators have locked that down. And that is why. So you can chat with them about that. But yep, you should be able to, which is awesome.
Yeah. That's a great question, because it also speaks to, I know, something that we wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of, which is that you can create public Looms, which anyone with the link can view. You can embed those Looms in anywhere. You still get the analytics, although it's going to be anonymous views if people aren't required to log in and create a Loom account or anything like that. But you can still absolutely have Loom videos go out outside your organization. Great for sales, success, marketing, support, all those use cases where they need to go out and potentially go to the public at large. And those, obviously, like you just said, Matt, can be embedded in places like a public facing Confluence page or anywhere else, which we use and will be shared in chat. Some resources that have just that public Looms in public Confluence pages and things like that.
Yes. And as Sarah mentioned, yes, you can embed them in whiteboards internally, or even if you have a public whiteboard, you can put them in a lot of places. All right, Sasha, that is it for our rapid fire questions at the moment.
Okay, love it, because now we get into what I think is super exciting for people to see, which is, all right, you recorded your video, but now you actually need to create something from that video. Well, we have this generate tab in every single Loom recording. So it's going to give you several options. So SOP, a how-to, there's for engineers and product people, PR description, QA steps, code doc. All of these are different types that are kind of canned documents that you can create now. And don't fret, I know it's going through many people's minds, but at some point in the near future, you will actually have Rovo directly here. You can still leverage Rovo by just copying in and pasting any Loom link into Rovo and asking it to create whatever you want from the Loom video. It can do it there, but soon it will be native in Loom. And you'll be able to take advantage and say, hey, can you please create this document from this Loom video, and it'll just generate it. And of course, the best part is it can bring in screenshots from your video. Of course, the text is generated from everything you said, that transcript. So why it's so important, and how why you should get used to just talking through, what you're thinking when you're sharing your screen, because all that can be leveraged by Rovo and Loom AI to be able to create these documents, which then, with a wonderful, simple click of a button, I'm going to put this into my Confluence site, or my Confluence space, I should say. And then here it is, this document from a 2-minute Loom recording. I now have this full document, screenshots, etc. I can even make sure that this is embedded so people can watch the Loom directly within Confluence. So this is, simply just a few clicks of a button, and I have now a context-rich, really lovely Confluence page that started with just a Loom recording. And of course, you can actually start your Loom recordings within Confluence by simply just going /Loom, and I'm going to get that screen recorder pop up. And now when it's done, it'll be instantly embedded in my Confluence page, just like that.
I think this is the game changer for me, personally, because I've been in like a lot of knowledge management, documentation writing, project management, lots of different roles where you're writing a ton of stuff. And video has always been this sort of like risky thing of like, well, if I make a video, what about the people who don't watch the video? Or if I make a video with no sound, what about the people who like didn't watch through it? How can they read it? There's always this like, well, how does that content scale, right? If I record a video, is that weird for the people who don't read the video? How are they going to search for it? How are they going to hear it, get it in their own language, whatever? And because with Loom AI and soon Rovo, I can record myself saying something, even if it's discombobulated, even if it doesn't really make that much sense, or like I'm not formatting my thoughts well. If you go to the generate tab and say, make a how-to, it's going to make a how-to. It's going to go through and find all the steps, including it'll capture like information on like the URL that's in your address bar. Like if you're showing the browser, it will pull that out and put that in the steps. And the fact that it catches screenshots as well. So it makes sharing your knowledge so much easier. The example I always think of like is if you're a field technician and you install hardware all day long, you do not have time to sit down and write out the install steps, but you could literally just prop up your phone with the Loom app and record yourself doing an install and create a Confluence how-to page right there. It's pretty freaking brilliant. I love it.
And of course, this is, what Rovo can do with any Loom video.
Oh my gosh. So this is
from the video.
This is again pulling from the transcript of that recording, yeah?
Yeah. So just to give a quick, kind of context of how I use Rovo and Loom together, almost every day, is I will just talk through, say, a report, or I'll talk through what I know needs to go into like a deck that I'm going to be showing to like senior leadership. And I'll be speaking through the data, and it will then be able to capture that and instantly just put it into the bullet points that I need to go into like the deck that I'm about to share. It's really powerful, leveraging Rovo and Loom together as a means to just talk through whatever you are thinking about or need to create. And it's nice because it's easy to talk. You can go back and change something and say, actually it needs to be this, and just keep going. And Rovo is smart enough to leverage all of that to create and synthesize and give you the content that you're asking for really simply and really easily.
Yeah. And remember, you can even speak in your own language because there is a translation piece. By the way, Sasha, someone was wondering, quick question. Is there ability to record a voiceover? Like after I've recorded a Loom, can I go back and record, just add a voiceover instead of just like, speaking as I'm recording?
Yeah. So that isn't possible yet, but it will be possible. It is in our roadmap. And not only could you do it by just, re-recording voice, but you'll actually be able to go in and like add, replace just text in your transcript in, when you go into the edit. It could be entire blocks of text, and then you'll be able to update. So you'll have a really powerful different ways to be able to make sure that an existing recording has like the voiceover that you want, even if you need to change it later on, because you'll just be able to go in and change the transcript itself.
Got
And
it.
of course,
Got it.
every change is tracked, and you'll always be able to see the original, in essentially the history of the video.
Awesome. Awesome. All
All right.
right.
I also want to quickly show that Loom is not just part of Confluence, but it is leveraged by all of Atlassian, and it is part of the ecosystem, which means that you can record an issue on your screen and instantly create a bug report, or an issue description that should go directly to Jira in the same way. So here it is again, transcript, synthesized and formatted in the way that I would need to go into Jira. I just click create in Jira. It's going to be able to get all the, sync with your Jira instance. So it sees all of this information. I can go in and make all the updates and then just click create. And it's as easy as that.
I think this is like, oh my gosh, I don't know how many bug tickets I've created in my life or any kind of issue work items, but this is so incredible. And there was a question in the chat about like what is Loom's competitive edge that makes it really different from other existing screen recorders? It's this AI integration that is so deep and so intuitive. In fact, I think Rovo's AI features are the most intuitive AI features I've seen in any product, like bar none. They're so intuitive, they're so helpful. And then also this, right? We are able to create, record ourselves describing an issue on whatever. And within seconds, I'm able to create a work item for whatever team that needs to fix that thing. Like, think about how hard it is to write those emails to tech support or to legal or whomever to describe, here's this and this and this and this, and this is the problem. Whereas you can just show it in a Loom. You can also format it in text, and you can add the Loom to that. Like, the amount of knowledge and understanding you can share with Loom, that's the difference. It's not just about recording videos. It's about taking your knowledge that's in your head, getting it to the people who need it, like, incredibly quickly. And just having a screen recorder, it ain't gonna touch that.
Yeah, I think that's it. In fact, I'm going to go on and quickly show the second aspect of Loom, which we haven't really dived into yet, which is meeting recording. And so to date, we've really been talking about the communication layer that's about technical term, asynchronous communication.
Right.
So non-live. So all of the information that is being created outside of live meetings, Loom is really powerful there. But we also can be added to any live meeting in Teams, Google, or obviously Zoom, as you can see here. And what it's going to do is it's going to instantly create a Loom video, which means now Rovo has access. It can be posted into Confluence, which I'm going to show you in a sec. But now, not only is it going to do that, but you're going to get incredible action item summary and notes from any meeting. They're all going to be tied to the recording itself. So if I wanted to see this, I could just click on the timestamp. It's going to take me there. It's also able to, there's different formats. If I wanted to change this to this type of meeting, it would be format the recap. I can update the language of this. So if I need it to be in a different language, I can do that. And then here's the really powerful point that I think more deeply answers the question, which is this can automatically be created in Confluence. So here is the details. Here is the recap, the summary. I can then also, I could go to Rovo and have any of these notes or the action items automatically become Jira work items. And then if you think about it, if this is a weekly meeting that I have with Tally, when I have this automatically go to Confluence, it's going to create a parent page with all the subsequent meetings as child pages from that parent. So what that means is if I wanted to go back and find something that I discussed with Tally a month ago, 6 months ago, whatever the case may be, I can instantly do that. I can ask Rovo to do that. I can ask Rovo, what is Tally described as her current blockers or the biggest blockers in the last 6 months or year? There's a few other participants, if you can't hear them in the background right now, about to go to school.
I love this. We're going to have to pay them as musical performers, which is going to increase the bill of this live stream, but it's all right because we respect artists.
That's right. And so now Rovo is able to give you insights because you're incorporating Loom into your workflow that you wouldn't get from just a general screen recorder or meeting note taker, because it's in all of that data now really lives in the teamwork graph.
Yeah.
And you can search it and find it in Confluence, and Rovo can take action and give insights and automatically create, you know, work items and project updates and all of these things. Now it's all centered in a way that AI can do meaningful things with it that you couldn't get, if they're disparate systems.
One way I've seen this in a very practical use case, like at K15T, we did a lot, especially in like 2020, to eliminate meetings, right? We're like, everything can be a Confluence page, or very much. We're like, get rid of meetings, go to Confluence page. But then, we realized there was some loss of, social connection there, also the ability to like brainstorm, like, right. So then we're introducing more meetings again, but then you lose that ability to have the page, right? To have it written down. But with the Loom note taker, I had a situation where my colleague Patricia and I, we had met with my CMO like, I don't know, a month and a half earlier, probably. And she had said very specifically, we need to do this. I don't remember what the decision was, but she made a decision in that meeting. And a month and a half later, Patricia and I were both like, what was the decision?
Yeah.
So we just went to Rovo and we were like, what? We had a meeting where this was talked about, and Rovo helped us find the page. And in the meeting notes, it was noted that Nadine had made this decision. And it was like, oh, okay, this is it. It's the perfect world of the meeting and the page. And then the page continues to live on, which is so helpful for continued collaborations, for assigning action items. Again, these are the things that we are afraid of with meetings, losing these things. They're now captured with AI. We are turning them into shared knowledge, action items, everything that we used to. If we had a really good teammate, they would do this for us. But now those really good teammates can focus their energy on the things they do best.
Exactly. That's it. And then, I know one of the things that we often think about and want to talk about and share when we talk about, knowledge in live meetings being pushed and stored is that when you add your Loom note taker to any live meeting, you can always pause it if there's sensitive information that should only remain in the live meeting and you don't want it captured. So you have controls over, the content and the controls over your meeting data still. So that's really important, especially, across an enterprise. There are some meetings that shouldn't have the meeting note taker, so you can automatically remove them. You choose which meetings you want the note taker to join, and those team meetings, those discussions, those collaborative meetings, where you need to capture the content, the output, and the next steps to know and easily surface, and go back, just like Matt described. It's a scenario we're all in all the time because we have too many meetings. Going back and being like, oh, what was the thing that was discussed in this meeting? What do I need to do next? Rovo, or just reading and going back to the meeting itself, or using Rovo to kind of give you the answer of like what you need to do next and giving you suggestions on how you can accomplish that. Those are the ways that AI can become really powerful as like almost like your own assistant to help you out into determining, and guiding what you should be working on, how you should be working on it, and based off of real context, real meetings, all of those things. And that's the power of Loom within your Atlassian ecosystem.
Love it. And if you are a user of of K15T's apps, which lets you take Confluence knowledge and publish it to the world as like beautiful PDFs or a website, think about, you could go all the way from, again, a technician in the field recording and how to Confluence to the web, with just one workflow within the teamwork collection, with just like clicks and AI doing all the heavy lifting. The amount of value of knowledge you could get out of people's heads and into people's hands is like truly exciting. And Sasha, we had one question about like, if videos can be published to scroll sites, so like public videos. But I know there's a few unique features in Loom for public Looms, like unique stuff that people might use if they're sending, if they're putting Looms on the web, or if they are sending a Loom in an email. what special stuff does Loom enable for those sorts of use cases?
Yeah, absolutely. So LinkedIn doesn't allow for videos to be directly embedded, but you can still share videos in LinkedIn, same places. On X, Facebook, Gmail, there's an actual plugin, so you can actually have an animated GIF be embedded, and then
Oh, sweet.
you just paste in the link. All of that, it's really easy, and then you can get the embed code directly too, so you can embed it, anywhere you can embed video. Looms can go. So it's really fairly easy and intuitive to get looms anywhere you need them. We have specific links at the top within that little share modal that can pop up whenever you click it. So yeah, that's it. It's really simple.
So awesome. All right. Well, actually, wait. Was there a question? I believe I've answered all the questions I've seen. Y'all, if you have more questions, please drop them into the live chat because we have 10 minutes remaining. Also, if you have a snack, now is the time. I happen to have a dark chocolate peanut butter cup from Trader Joe's, which if you're in Germany, that is owned by Aldi Nord, I think. That's their hipster American chain. And I grew up near Hershey, Pennsylvania, where the peanut butter cup reigns supreme, but Trader Joe's does it better. And they're not a sponsor. I wish, but they are so good. So if you don't have one, rush out after this. You know what to do. Obviously, go try Loom and get yourself some peanut butter cups.
Let us know. Record your experience. Share your experience of Trader Joe's in a Loom.
Oh my gosh!
Let us know.
Could we be doing like some ASMR peanut butter cup content on using Loom? What would the transcript look like?
I mean, it would just it'd be pretty unshareable.
Yeah,
I think
Rovo is not
that should
prepared.
Remain in video visual only.
Dustin in the chat, we'd like to see some of this content, please. Since you're the true video star. All right. I mean, Sasha, do you have a little more to show
us? Dustin already has all of the the product placement Loom videos in Confluence. So
True.
Dustin is the expert.
He's thinking it might be a good idea. All right, Sasha, show us more. I'm gonna snack.
Okay. With like the few minutes that we have remaining, I just wanted to run through like those quick, easy, and I think really powerful ways for you to get started. Leveraging video, you don't need your cam bubble on. We always say, you should, just because it's important to bring yourself into the communication, but these are the ones that are the informal kind of one-off types of videos that you can create and share with your team to drive real value of video and Loom right away, which is into those quick updates. Instead of, trying to, set up a meeting with your team, you just send them the video. They know exactly what you're talking about, and then they can action and do whatever they need to do with that information. Of course, troubleshooting, issues, same thing, being able to capture your screen, talk through it, show exactly what's going on, quicker resolution every time. How-tos. So whether it's like an overview of like a new policy or procedure or change in product, new feature, those demos, those how-tos, not only is it great to do and capture in video, but you can instantly then create your Confluence page directly from your video walkthrough. This is the one that's like, again, kind of already talked about it a little bit, but yes. I think they're really, really great because it means that you can help answer questions ahead of time, get buy-in. Really great if you're sharing like project information at the beginning, cross-functionally, let other teams know what you're working on. Create the Confluence page. It's going to track the entirety of the project from your kickoff overview. Project kickoff, great use of Loom.
And yeah, I was going to say, if you are an event planner or a marketer and you're putting together an advanced campaign, our event planners at K15T create these massive Confluence whiteboards, which are awesome with all the details about the event. And then they create a Loom for each section of that whiteboard. So beforehand, we can go into the whiteboard, watch an overview of what we're going to talk about. Like Sasha said, kind of queue everything up. You watch through all the Looms. You can add questions ahead of time so that when we do get into our actual, like everybody's in a meeting, with the Loom note taker. Everybody's up to speed. It's kind of like, does everybody have questions? Are there, is there a discussion here? And it made the meeting such an incredible working meeting because we all got to take in the information at our own pace, write down any questions we had, see it all on the whiteboard. And then, the actual meeting, we maybe spent 20 minutes there. It was like really, really awesome. Sasha, Heike's wondering, can you export your personal Loom videos? So like as files?
Yeah, so actually that's a great question because not only can you, I don't know why you'd ever need to, Loom's the perfect home for any video, but if you
True.
needed to, yes, you can download any of your videos. They download as, I believe, I think a MOV file.
I think so too.
And then you can do the reverse, which is what we all really want to do, is take all of our video content we've for some reason created elsewhere, and you can bring them into Loom too. So you can go either direction, but from my personal perspective, everything should live in Loom. Loom is the home for video, but
yeah, so
you can absolutely
hot
download
take,
or upload.
Cool kids keep their videos on Loom, is what Sasha's saying.
Yes, no judgment. Absolutely, you can download out of Loom and upload your videos into Loom. So do what you need.
Do it. All right, we have 2 minutes, Sasha.
Okay,
How else can we get
excellent.
started?
So again, our helpful tips to boost that confidence. Absolutely the core of video in the contexts that you're going to begin using Loom is don't worry. It's not supposed to be perfect. Just be yourself.
Yes.
Make mistakes and send it because it's informal communication to get started. If you want, the desktop app has speaker notes, so that teleprompter, get those bullet points so you make sure you hit everything you need to cover. The sweet spot for the majority of the use cases we discussed, the overviews, the product demos, the project kickoffs, those meeting pre-watches, the things that drive better meetings like Matt was just talking about. 2 to 3 minutes is like the sweet spot. People will watch the entire video. They'll engage with it. You can also record a 5-minute video and default to 1.7 speed. You don't turn into a chipmunk, and it means that 5-minute video becomes a 2.5 or 3-minute video. So there's little tips like that can really help engagement and people watching your videos. Show your face when you can. Get to the point where you feel comfortable doing that. Start where you're comfortable, build towards that, because again, it's about building trust and connection. A great aspect of using video is you bring your full self into your communication. It says engage with Looms. I would take it a step further. If you're recording something and you want people to give you feedback, tell you what they think, or just engage in some way, ask for it up front. Say, hey, let me know your feedback. Add it in the comments. Ask for what you're driving at, what you need, and people will respond. And it's super easy in Loom, which is great. And I will say, I didn't show this, but when people add comments to your Looms, it'll give a timestamp. So if you have a 5-minute Loom and they comment on point in minute 2, you'll know exactly what it is they're commenting and referencing, which makes all of that way, way easier than trying to sift through a bunch of text and understand what exactly people are referencing. So comments in Loom is great. And then last, lean on your community. Communities, K15T is a great source to answer questions when you can't connect directly with Atlassian. As a team, talk about, share your wins, talk about what's working well with your beginning video journey. And so don't record in isolation, but leverage your team, leverage your experts, leverage the Loom community within the Atlassian community. There's a ton of people. It's a super friendly place and a great place to ask questions and share what's working for you.
I love this. It gets easier, friends. It does get easier. If you want to see my first video where I'm like, oh, wow, message me and I will send it to you, and you can see, oh, wow, it gets easier. You can be more yourself. That's pretty awesome. All right, Sasha, thank you so much for joining and showing us how we can go from talking into the air to sharing our knowledge across the entirety of our enterprise and even the web. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. This was great. Thanks again, Matt.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure for me. Y'all, if you haven't hit that subscribe button in YouTube, please do, because maybe Looms aren't exactly what you're looking for. Maybe you're like, but what about robo agents? Well, tomorrow we will be dropping an incredible best practice video all about robo agents. Also, if you go to k15t.com/learn, two things. Do yourself two favors. Hit that subscribe button up top to subscribe to our weekly Confluence newsletter that over 50% of our people open and 30% of people click to learn more. 30% of our audience get value out of it by clicking to learn further things. That is really incredible. And we send this out every week. We've sent over 100 issues of it now. We actually just talked about some new stuff we're getting into in the next few months, and I am very excited. It's some nerdy stuff. It's some helpful stuff for all teams working with things like images and files in Confluence, which can be a bit complex. So hit that subscribe button, k15t.com/learn. Also scroll down, you'll see a little something called the documentation guide. Heike knows what I'm talking about. It is a full guide on how your team could write your product documentation or your team documentation in Confluence and all the skills and strategies you need to think about to do that. It is over a decade of knowledge from K15T that we have put there in a way that you can read and know what to look for, how to use your tools in the best way possible, because we're kind of into that. Y'all, it has been so wonderful. Please subscribe here for more wonderful video content. Go to k15t.com/learn to explore even more written content and Confluence news there. And of course, join us for another video as we continue to explore how to use Confluence to share what you do best. Bye.